I've heard on a bunch of different forums that I'm on, and Facebook, and even some people on this site. Um, they always talk about copper wire, and is it worth it to burn it or strip it, or just take it in as is? Um, so a lot of people have their opinions on it. I've heard a whole bunch of crazy things. Some people tell you it's worth so much more if you strip it. Other people say it's not worth your time. Um, Nobody really gets into the mathematics of it. I don't know if it's because they just don't understand it or because they don't know or whatever, you know. But today I'm going to be showing you a video where you can get a whole bunch of copper like this, and like, is it worth it to strip it? I mean, I've already done the math for myself, but I'm going to be teaching you guys. So you could say that you've actually seen somebody do the math, and I'm going to be teaching you how to do the math for yourself, because it's different everywhere you go. It's different every yard you go to, and pretty much every day it can be different than the prices I'm going to get today. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to figure out the math for yourself. So, it's like a metal industry secret for some reason. I don't know. But you could say, you've seen it here first. All right, man. So we're gonna come inside to the classroom, and we'll get started. We're gonna come back out and you'll see the footage of me stripping this. And then we're gonna head to the junkyard and come back to the classroom again. And you'll get a final recap of the math involved for this specific load. So yeah, follow me into the classroom here. All right, YouTube. So we're here. This is actually the scrap classroom here for today. All right. It's kind of just a whiteboard with some crazy guy talking with his hands, some words, this dry erase marker, and some crazy guy talking behind a camera. So we're here today to figure out if stripping wire, is it worth it? Before we get into that, this video is going to be kind of lengthy. It's going to be informational, so stay tuned. I just wanted to get it out of the way. This video is sponsored by Kenton Welding. If you're in the Western Ohio area, they can hard face your equipment. They can repair your equipment. They do like a lot of farm stuff, construction stuff. They can make handrails for your house, and they can custom make tables and some other things of that nature. That's their information there. Phone number 567-674-2221, and then kentonwelds@gmail.com or kentonwelding.com. If you break down in the middle of the night with your tractor, they can get it up and running for you. So be sure to check them out. Alright, so now we're getting into the part that mostly everybody came in here to figure out. So if you got copper wire, is it worth it to strip? Or burn it, or whatever. I do not recommend burning it. In some states it's actually illegal and very hard to sell burnt wire. So the first thing you got to know to be able to figure out if stripping copper wire is worth it or not is how much you're getting paid to start. So in today's today's prices, copper wire is either going to be 40 cents for like your lamp cords and stuff, or it's going to be $1 at the yard I just got back from. So we're going to put 40% number 2. That'll start you off at 40 cents a pound. If you have Romex, every yard is going to be different here, but Romex or MCM, THHN, all that stuff, it's going to be $1 a pound. So that's your starting prices. Then what you got to figure out is how much insulation, like what. So if you start out with a wire, you know, if you look at the end of the wire, you cut it in half. So there's your wire, you cut it in half, and then what you're going to be looking at is right here. It's going to look like that, and then there's going to be copper right there. So this is the insulation, the white part, and then this black center part's the copper. So that's what you'll be looking at there. Excuse my horrible drawing. So, but anyways, what you're doing when you're stripping your wire is you're actually taking away this white part, and you're getting just the copper. So when the yards buy your copper wire, like say they buy Romex at $1 a pound, they're buying both the copper and the insulation. So what you have to figure out is what percentage of the weight of this wire is copper and what is insulation. Because you're only getting paid for a percentage of your wire when you strip it. Whereas if you sell it whole, you're getting paid for everything. So we're going to erase all this. And then we're going to figure out the price that we're getting for the copper. So in today's market, if you got Bear Bright, at the yard I went to today, again, this is going to be different for everyone, you can get $1.75 per pound for Bear Bright. So if you have THHN or MCM wire, there's our wire. When you sell just this part of it, that's what you're getting. So now you got to figure out what percentage of that wire is copper. So THHN, MCM, that's usually goes into an 80% category. So if you have, say, 10 pounds of MCM, only 8 pounds of that is going to be Bear Bright. So, in order to figure out if it's worth it or not, you got to figure out how much you'd be getting for this. And I said it was $1 a pound today, so you'd be getting $10. If you had 8 pounds of Bear Bright, you'd be getting $8.75 or $1.75 per pound of that for 8 pounds. So what you got to do there is do some math here. 175 times by 8. $14 total. So this equation works for everything scrap related, by the way. You just have to figure out your own percentages. So, and every yard is going to have a different package of wire. This 80%, that's their package. Your yard could be number one, like 90%, 70%, whatever they go by, 85%. It's just, this is the package that our yard went by when I worked there. So, again, it doesn't matter what they call it, as long as they're paying you, what they're going to pay you. So, now that we know what our right here, $14. So, when you strip it, you're getting $4 more for this wire right here. Approximately. So, that's a gain of, we're going to write that right here, $4 plus $4. So, now what you need to do to figure out if stripping wire is worth it or not is you have to figure out how long it takes you to strip that amount of wire. So what I did is we went ahead and stripped a whole bunch of wire. We're going to go ahead and do that now, and then we're going to come back into the classroom here and we're going to figure out if stripping wire was worth it for the amount of time I spent. And again, everybody is going to be in a different situation than me. Your hourly rates, you may be trying to get better or worse than me. You may be faster than me at stripping wire. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to strip the wire. I got like 6 different kinds of wire. Then we're going to come back to you with the real world numbers here. So, yeah, we'll come back to this in a second here. All right. All right, YouTube. So if it's windy, I apologize. But yeah. So y'all saw the intro. We're trying to figure out if it's worth it to strip copper wire or not. So we've got a few different kinds of wire here. A lot of it's like heavier stuff. In the truck bed, I got some Romex, but we're not going to do that in this run. We're going to do that in a separate run, I believe. Unless I have enough buckets to do this. We're trying to figure out, a lot of this thicker stuff, I believe it's actually worth it to strip. But again, we're going to strip it. We know what it's worth right now. We're going to strip it, and then we're going to figure out if the difference is worth the time spent or not. So, like I said, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different kinds of copper wire, and then some aluminum wire, I believe. Yeah, there's one strand of aluminum wire. Actually, this is another strand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different kinds of copper wire. We got 3 different buckets lined up here. This is going to be for the copper. Very bright, number 1 and number 2. This orange stuff is going to come out as number 2, I think. And then we're just going to throw our insulation. We have another bucket for that. We're going to be running this generator here, so y'all won't have any sound when we're doing this, so I'll just do a time lapse. we're going to be running it off of our let me get in here. We're going to be running it off of that's what we're going to be stripping everything with, is our copper wire stripper. You can see on the side here, I think, yeah, copper wire stripper, the model CWS2. It's made in Canada. It's actually an older one. They changed the model of this, and the blades they send you out for the new ones don't fit these old ones. So it's a old blade that I sharpened. So it may not be as quick as a brand new blade, but I think it'll be good enough for what we're trying to do here. I've been using it like that for a while, and then there's the Romex in there. So let me get the generator going. I'll throw the time-lapse on, and we're trying to see if it's worth it to if it's worth the time to do this or not. Alright, YouTube. So when I started this, it was around like 150, 130, I can't remember. But it's now like 330 almost. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. So this is all the insulation from that, the thicker stuff. Then come over here. This is stripper, and then that's all the Bear Bright that I was able to get out of this entire run. Most of that was in the thicker, the last wire I did, the big long stuff. Plus, I got some out of the that stuff with the semiconductor. Then I got in these buckets. What I got going on is in here is number 1. That's what they're going to consider number 1 copper. Then I got number 2 copper in here. This is number 2 because it's got this silver coating on it. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see the difference on the camera, but you sort of can. That's like what the difference is. It's like either a silver or an aluminum coating. It goes for number 2. This stuff goes for number 1. That stuff's Bear Bright. Most of this stuff will be number 1 because it's too thin, or because this is that semiconductor that was in that one wire. These things are a pain to strip, but you know, you can't pick what you get all the time. And then what I got going on here is in this bucket, I got all the insulation from the things that gave me the number 2 copper. So we're going to figure out a different percentage on that. And then this is the insulation from everything that gave me the number 1 and the Bear Bright. So we're gonna plus all that other insulation, it's all gonna go in the same thing. So yeah, we're gonna do a separate run here for the Romex. We're gonna keep all that separate from everything. So I'm gonna get fired up here, and we're gonna do that in a quicker time lapse. Before I get into that though, you'll notice that when I got into that thicker stuff, like this orange stuff, if you were watching closely, in that big thick like the black and the red wire, the longer runs of that, you'll notice I ran it through twice. That's because it's easier to get it out that way. Not because the machine wouldn't do it, but when you do it that way, you know, you run it once and then you run it twice and it just opens up like a banana peel. That'll help speed you up a little bit, and you won't have to work as hard. You know, let the machine do the work for you. This thing here, those are always a pain to strip. So, you know, it is what it is. Again, I'm working with a pretty old blade on this. It's gone through tons and tons of wire. And literally, I mean tons. In one day, I ran 2,500 pounds of this stuff through it. Stuff with a semiconductor. So, you know, just keeps going. That's the machine I'm using again. And like I said, we're gonna set up and run the Romex. Then we're gonna head over to the yard and see what we get out of this. Alright, YouTube. So, what I got going on here is I'm halfway done with the Romex. Alright. See, that's all the insulation from the first run. All this stuff I have to run through again. And then that's all the bare bright from, that's generally like the ground wire. So I'm going to set up and we're going to run through it again. Alright. There's no easy way to do Romex. Personally, I do not think it is worth it. But we're going to set up and we're going to run through this mess now. Alright, YouTube. So, you guys saw that. I put the machine away. You guys didn't see that. You guys saw me strip that Romex there. It took a while. I'm going to pull out my phone here, see what time it is. It is now 5 o'clock. I started the Romex at around 3:40. So it took me an hour and 20 minutes roughly to do the Romex. That's all the insulation, and that there's all the bare bright I got out of it. I'm gonna keep it separated from this other bare bright over here. We're gonna do two different weigh-ins on this. It's because, you know, I want y'all to see the difference here. So we're gonna go to the junkyard, weigh this stuff up, and then, you know, come back to you in the classroom and we'll wrap this up. Alright, YouTube, so we're back in the classroom. We went to the junkyard and then we found out how much we got out of everything here. So when I took the copper in, we got 3 different types of wire. We got some bare bright, we got some number 1 copper, then we got the number 2 copper, and then I did the Romex in a separate run. That came out to be all bare bright. So bare bright is going for $175 a pound, number 1 $160 a pound, and then number 2 $150 a pound. Again, in today's market, if you did not strip it, these would be the total weights of everything, and they're going for $1 a pound. So, you know, this is how much you would get out of everything if you did not strip it. So $33 for both these two, $10 for this, and $12 for this. So it would have been 22, like $55 I would have got for this entire load on stripped. Now that we know that, let's just write that in here. So had we not stripped it, we would have got $55 for that entire load. Now that we know this, we got the weights of everything. We know how much we got paid for what we stripped. So that 33 goes both these together. So even still, we made out less. We got less money for these two things than what we would have got just turning it in stripped. And that actually kind of blows my mind, because I thought we were going to come out ahead in these two categories right here. But really, we came out about $3 short of what we would have got just turning it in whole. Other yards might have paid more. Again, I didn't want to be biased during this video, so I took it to a yard I've never been to before. They don't know me. I'm not getting any incentive, and this is what we got, you know. The Romex, we came out $2 ahead of what we would have got stripping it, or just turning it in whole. So we came out ahead $2 here. Now, how is this? Well, we got to figure out the percentage of the wire here. So we know that the copper gave us this much weight. We know that the insulation weighed this much. So together as a whole, they weigh this much. Now you divide the small number by the big number here. So if we had, these two should be together. So if we had 17 pounds of copper and divide that by 33 pounds, that should give us our total, our percentage. So 17 divided by 33 equals 51%. 51% copper, 49% insulation. Our number 2 was 6 pounds, so that's 60%. Our bare bright was 8 pounds, divide that by 12, 66%. 66% copper, 60% copper, 51% copper. We're going to erase all this, and then we're just going to take the 33 and then add these two together, since they should go together, and take the 10 and the 9 and the 12 and the 14. So alright, so we're going to start with the Romex here. We had 4 pounds of insulation, and then we had 8 pounds of copper. So 8 pounds minus the 4 pounds. So we started out with 12 pounds here. That would have netted us $12. But now that we stripped it it's only worth $14. So we have a $2 gain here. It took us 1 hour, 1 2/3 hour, so that's 1.3 repeating hours. That's how many man hours we have in here to strip it. So we got approximately less than $1 per hour stripping that. So what you do here is take your hours and divide that by the amount of money you made. And we made a whole whopping 65 cents an hour, or 66.5 cents an hour. All right, YouTube. So I went ahead and I wrote out some of this. So this is the total that we got for both of these. That's what we would have got. We got $9 for this, and we would have got $10 for this. So together we got $38.45, and we would have got $43. So what you want to do is $38.45 minus 43, and that's going to give you the difference. So for us, it's a negative amount. We actually lost $4.55 stripping our wire and taking it to this yard. It took us an hour, 1 2/3 hour, so 1.66 repeating hours. So you want to divide, and that gives us a total of $2.74 that we lost per hour. So we'll circle that. It's getting in the way of our other stuff there. But you can see we lost $2.74 an hour by stripping that wire. Part of that is because it came out as number 2 for some of it. Part of it is probably because this yard does not pay that much for their bare bright, but they pay a lot more for their wire compared to other yards at the moment. So, you know, it's not always worth it to strip your wire. I'm telling you, it's not always worth it. I mean, you can see we lost money by stripping our wire here today. So I'm going to do the math again here, only I'm going to call up a yard I used to work for, and we're going to get their prices as of today, and we're going to do the math again and figure out if it's just this yard that's not paying enough, or if it's everywhere, you know. So I'll be back in a second here. Alright, YouTube. So I called up another yard. This one's from my local area that I'm originally from. The other prices I gave you were from the Midwestern Ohio. These prices are from Eastern Pennsylvania. So you can see they're a lot different than that other yard. So we got $2.15 a pound for bare bright, $2.05 for number 1, $1.95 for number 2. So the number 1 and the wire prices are the same if you were to turn it in whole. So these two together, like this run that I did, it would have netted us $48.05. We would have started with $43. So we got a positive gain there of, so we got a positive gain of $5.05. For the Romex, we would have started out with $12. So there again, we got around a $5.20 gain right there. So at this yard, we would have gained money by going to this yard. Not much, but a little. So even at this prices though, $5.05 for an hour and 66. So we're going to divide this by 1.66, repeating, and that equals, so that would have got us $3.04 per hour. All right. It's really close with the Romex. It's $5.20. Divide that by 1.33. So with the Romex, we would have made $3.90 per hour. All right. So just as an ordinary customer walking into this yard, stripping the wire would have got us between $3 and $4 per hour stripping wire, right? So again, I try and get $20 per hour. So to me, at these prices, stripping wire is not worth it. It's not even close. You're not even making minimum wage, all right? So the next time you go stripping wire, just think about it, all right? Do the math. A way to increase this is to increase the percentage of copper. The wire that I had, I thought it was going to be good, but it turned out there was a lot of insulation in it. You know, other wires, you might have a little bit more. But another way you can increase your profits is to increase the speed at which you strip your wire. You know, for me personally, I can only strip Romex as fast as I did. All right, it took me 1 2/3 hour to strip, to come out with 8 pounds of Bear Bright. So I stripped 12 pounds of wire in 1 2/3 hour. The way the big guys make their money is they'll get a granulator, and that granulator will do that. What I did in 1 hour and 20 minutes, they're going to do in about like 3 seconds. But again, in order to get a machine of that size to be able to do that, you know, you have a really big upfront cost. So you need a lot more wire to feed that thing. So, you know, there you go. Is stripping wire worth it? In my opinion, not with the prices of today's copper. If prices increase, maybe. If I get better wire, maybe. But, you know, we did the math, and even at this higher paying yard, it's still not worth it to me. So the next time you go to the yard and somebody's like, oh man, you should strip that, you'll get so much more money. No, you won't, alright? Like, do the math for yourself and figure it out. So, alright. This is going to conclude our video here. I know it was pretty lengthy. Thanks for sticking it out to the end if you made it this far. Again, it's sponsored by Canton Welding. If you need any welding done in the Midwestern Ohio area, give them a call. 567-674-2221. They can do handrails, they can do repairs on farm equipment, and they're good at hard-facing buckets. So, alright. If you learned something from this, subscribe. If not, whatever, man.